Now we will start with our first session on COP negotiations and overview by Dr. Narsimha Reddy Donthi sir, and a brief profile about him. He is a renowned public policy expert and PhD in public policy, alumni of University of Hyderabad, and worked on different research projects which included environment, education, agriculture, electrical energy, handloom sector, and action research related to economy and environmental problems also. He is also a member of the State Advisory Committee. So with this, I request him to address the gathering. Thank you, sir.
Now coming to my presentation, Professor Purushottam Reddy mentioned this is the only topic on which 27 conferences have happened, and 28 is going to happen now in Dubai. But you should know why he said that. There are more than 250,000 international treaties. More than 250,000 international treaties. And multilateral treaties are at least 59,000 treaties. Multilateral is between several countries, all the countries. And there is a deposit of 767 treaties only. So right from 1945, because that's when this treaty started, UN treaties, 767 treaties are with the actively monitored and how they are implemented. So as he said, this is the only treaty, UNFCCC, UN Framework for Framework Convention on Climate Change. This has been continuously every year meeting in various countries. So it is very important for us to give that criticality to that treaty, and the objective of us meeting here, and we have been organizing, as Leela Lakshma Reddy has mentioned, we are organizing all these activities here because we want all of us to participate in the action, climate action. Because it is about our life. Our life is being impacted and your future is impacted. So you have to be part of this action. So it's not like, what happened in 1945, it's nothing to do, and whatever is happening is happening at a different level. So it is our life, it is our action, it is our future. So we need to be careful, we need to be more proactive, and we need to participate in deliberations at various levels. So our the objective of organizing this curtain raiser workshop is we need to engage with the process. So we can help you in how you can engage with that process, but let me go to the background so that you can understand what's happening. Now broadly, this is overview. There is science, we are discussing science, and policy. As a professor mentioned, there is a lot of policy, but on what? We are talking of ecology, about environment, and also sociology of the entire issue. So it encompasses all these areas. If someone feels here, no, this is about science, I am not related with that, you need to understand this is the crux of what COP is happening about, what it is discussing in the last 30 years. But then there are areas of concerns, and those areas are politics between US and EU, between EU, within the EU, between EU, US and India. So there are a lot of politics between the countries, within the countries, outside the countries, and within the politicians as well. So on November 30th, this 2023, when the people are meeting there, on 1st and 2nd, now 1st December and 2nd December, there will be a world summit of leaders. Almost all the national leaders, presidents, prime ministers, all of them will be there, and they are going to be there, give a statement, political statements. So this is politics, who is saying what? I think that's very important. Indian Prime Minister is going there because Dubai is only 1 hour journey. So he's going there in the morning and he'll fly back in the evening. And you might know this is the second time he is going in the last 3 years. He went there to Glasgow summit as well. But earlier Prime Ministers were there, but there is a lot of gap. But this shows that the urgency of the issue and how it impacts India is also there. And of course the concern is about business. You know, a lot of businesses are getting involved. They want to make profits out of it. They want to continue their business. And I think that's again a concern. And power politics. So it is also about power. Power to decide, power to profit, and power to change lives. So World Economic Forum says, we are here to change your lives. So they have a different line of thinking. Bill Gates has a different line of thinking. Richard Attenborough, they have a different line of thinking. So everyone has a different line of thinking. So there is a power game which is going on. And of course, wealth. The people want to make wealth out of it. They want to accumulate wealth. And some people want to distribute wealth. So this is all just to give you an overview. You can understand what is happening at COP. Now the Conference of Parties, basically, they discuss IPCC reports, International Panel on Climate Change. So as the professor pointed out, 6th assessment report is very, very important, which came in 2021. It's called Code Red. You can read, it's available on the net. You can download it, you can hear it, you can also create your own opinion or knowledge on that. So I am not going into detail, but there are a lot of reports. There is science. This is the science I am talking about. Now the history is there where it started. The entire process on environment and climate change started in 1972, and the crucial step was in 1992 when the Rio conference has happened, and then the UNFCCC emerged. I am rushing because I have only 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So there is a history, you can get it on any platform. But you should know India also hosted a COP. COP 8 was hosted by India in 2002. And that was a crucial COP because the Kyoto Protocol, which was signed in 97, the operation began almost in 2002. And at that time, if you remember, Vajpayee was in government, NDA was the government, and Russia hesitated to join this COP 8 because of Kyoto Protocol. Kyoto Protocol is about reduction in greenhouse gases, and that's again a agreement within the COP processes. There are several agreements which are part of the COP. When we are saying UNFCCC, it's a broad convention, but there are a lot of agreements within that, and those agreements are negotiated in every COP. I'll come to that later. So the crucial step, Professor again mentioned, he agrees that there is a movement. I don't agree, but he says there are milestones. The milestone is Paris Agreement. The Paris Agreement COP 15, at that time, on the penultimate day of the COP, almost 2 days later, they agreed that every country will voluntarily commit themselves to a timeline of reducing carbon emissions. I think my friend Dr. Keshav is going to talk about in detail, but this is the first agreement where every country agreed that they will give a plan, action plan to reduce the carbon emissions which that country does. So that means there is a broad agreement that we need to reduce, and we need a timeline for that, we need targets, and we need a commitment. So that has happened in Paris. But then later, after Paris Agreement, because we are talking of COP 21, and now we are entering COP 28. So in the 7 COPs, the progress is being discussed, how to implement this Paris Agreement. So there are a number of streams again of discussion and negotiations. So this is crucial, this COP 28, I'll come to that later maybe. So this is a list of COPs, are the key years, what has happened when. So now in COP 28, what are the expectations? So as I mentioned, the COP 21 where the Paris Agreement happened, in that agreement one of the clauses was every 5 years they will take a global stock take. That means they will take an assessment of where we are, whether we are moving or whether we have stopped. And that global stock take report came just this year. So the first global stock take has come this year, and that report is going to be discussed, and they are going to see which country has moved, when, how much they have moved in reduction, and if we are not moved in reduction of gases, then we need to reformulate our goals. So most of the countries, they gave 2030, that is, we are in 2023, next 7 years, they are going to reduce their emission, greenhouse gases emission, carbon emission. They are given different levels of reduction. Almost 75% countries have given their target as 2030. Remaining, like India, China, they gave 2050, our target is 2070. So there are a few countries which have given their target goal to reduce pollution, to change their economy, all that they have given long period. So this global stock take is going to be a crucial discussion point in COP 28. So we will also understand who has done what. Again, for you, importantly, you need to listen to Dr. Keshav, because we will understand which country is doing what. Then the loss and damage. Loss and damage is a part of the process where there is a historical emissions which has been happening because of industrialized countries. So carbon emissions started somewhere in 1800 because of industrial revolution, first industrial revolution. So UK, most of the European countries, and later United States. So all of these have started guzzling environmental resources, and they agreed, we did that. So, but because of climate change is impacting on everyone else, right? So it is impacting Pakistan, it is impacting India, it is impacting Bangladesh, it is impacting Vanuatu, it is impacting West Indies, it is impacting Philippines, and most of the African countries. So they are saying, because of you, because of your indulgence, we are facing the loss. So in the loss and damage, the principle of polluter pays. Polluter pays principle has been agreed, and they said all these countries which are only at the receiving end but have not contributed to climate change, they will get funds and compensation for their losses. So that's what loss and damage is there. So in last Egypt COP27, they agreed to establish a fund, loss and damage fund, and the progress on that will be discussed in COP28. But of course, still they are dragging their feet. They are not ready to give funds, and now their discussion is whether that fund will be with World Bank or not. Most of the developing countries are not agreeing that World Bank should be the custodian of this loss and damage fund. So there is a lot of conflicting area which is happening. Climate finance, in the afternoon we'll have our resource person is going to discuss. So this is talking of $100 billion fund which was supposed to be established, but it has not happened. But that's another stream of negotiation. Climate adaptation plans, climate mitigation is basically responding to the changes which are happening all over the world: floods, wildfires, drought, whatever we are facing, and even loss of food, nutrient loss, biodiversity loss. There are a number of climate change impacts which each country is trying to adapt or mitigate. So in the afternoon again we have 2 or 3 people who are going to discuss that. So please you can go, you can open up to what is being said there. Now this is just a sample which I wanted to show you, because I am going to do everyday review of COP28 like I did for 27 and 26. Now this is almost the penultimate day, day 11 of COP27. So these are number of the streams of negotiations, and that's the status, whether they agreed, they are not agreed. So all this will be reported on day 11 or day 12. So in COP28 again on December 11 or 12, we are going to see such status reports. So we will understand what is happening. Article 6.2, Article 6.4 is about carbon markets, bilateral cooperation. Now carbon markets is again a major area of concern. That's where I said business. Most of the companies, global companies, they want to continue their businesses, they want to continue to get profits on that. So they are talking of carbon mechanism, market mechanisms. If I have time, maybe in the afternoon I'll speak. So COP28 expectations, as I mentioned, it's about nationally determined contribution. This is, each country has given a commitment in a written form. You can find that on UNFCCC website. You can, all the countries submitted NDCs. You can get a document, you can download, understand who said what and all that. And they have to submit progress reports as well. So, but India has given a progress report on 26 August 2022, not this year. And their progress report looks very churlish, it does not give you detail. I'll go into the detail later. And as I mentioned, adaptation, mitigation, loss and damage is part of this. Now Paris rule book is what I mentioned, Article 6. Now this has become a major stream of negotiation. And for most of the civil society, this is a scam. Carbon credits and carbon markets, so far, it has started long back, and there is a scam. So basically, the one who has done the, Telugulo chepte papamu chesina vaadu, పుణ్యాత్ముని దగ్గర కొనుక్కుంటుండ పాపం అమ్మి. అండ్ దట్ ఈజ్ స్కామ్. ఎందుకంటే వీళ్ళు పాపం తగ్గించి డబ్బులు కొనుక్కుంటారు పుణ్యం చేసిన వాళ్ళ దగ్గర. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ ది ఎక్స్చేంజ్ ఆఫ్ money, monetization of emissions. So you have a X company in EU, they have done maybe 10 tons of carbon dioxide they have released there. So they calculate, okay, this is we have done this. So they calculate that in monetary terms and they'll say, okay, 10 tons we have $10 million, and they invest that in other countries where someone has done afforestation, someone has done a sustainable agriculture, or their emissions are zero and they have contributed positively to environment. So this is a trade between emissions and contributions. Contribution to ecology, contribution to environment. And this is a scam because people with money, they are going to buy whatever you do. But are they buying it at a cost which they have done? Meaning, is this a penalty on them or is it an incentive for them? So there are a lot of discussions on that. So broad brush again. What happened, overall in COP27, all the 27. First they said there is no climate change. Even now there are a lot of people say there is no climate change. They say it's all geoengineering and it is a conspiracy by US, it's a conspiracy by Russia, it's a conspiracy by Rockefeller. So there are conspiracy theories, there is a denial. They say no, there is no climate change at all. And even now continues. And the second stage was ignored. They said, okay, those people are meeting every year. They are going to keep meeting. Let we continue what we want to do. So the World Trade Organization, which emerged in 1995, ignored what is happening in 1992, which has begun from 1995 exactly. So UNFCCC started in 1995. Same year World Trade Organization came. And World Trade Organization promotes consumption, promotes trade, and it has been, in my view, it has been a major contributor of the wrong path that the world took in guzzling environmental resources, contributing towards carbon emissions in various ways. And then they neglected, then the obfuscation, झूठ बोलना और మసిపూసి మారేడుకాయ చూడడం ఇది కూడా జరుగుతుంది. సో ఇప్పుడు కూడా అదే చేస్తున్నారు. దెన్ దేర్ ఇస్ అ కాన్స్పిరసీ. నౌ దే ఆర్ కాన్స్పైరింగ్ how to derail the negotiation. So from several COPs, and now there is a COP28 is happening in UAE. UAE is a petrol state. Their entire economy is on petroleum, and the president of COP28 is the president of a oil company. So the oil companies, fossil fuel companies, coal companies, they all want to derail COP because it is trying to hit on their business. So there are a lot of conspiracies going on. In fact, COP is again is being used by many people to build a new world order, either to transform for a justice, equity and participatory mechanism. But there are others like World Economic Forum. They want to continue the global monopoly of multinational corporations. So conspiracies are happening. We need to be very clear where is the conspiracy and how it is coming. And their technology is being used. digital technology, many technologies, even genetically modified technology. When they say resilience, resilience is a word used both ways. A technology which contributes to environmental cycles, natural cycles, and there could be technologies which continue to disrupt the natural cycles, ecology. So there are a number of them. Then there is a confusing, so they keep confusing. So remember on December 1st and 2nd, when you are listening to the speeches by the world leaders, you understand whether they are confusing or not. Joe Biden, last time, in Glasgow and even in Egypt, he said, he announced very flamboyantly, he said, we are going to work on reduction of fossil fuels. And he went back and he signed 3 proposals to again establish oil rigs. And he talked about a global methane alliance. But then again he went back and they are now using methane as one of their traded products. So there are a number of statements. Even Boris Johnson, who was the Prime Minister when Glasgow COP happened, he spoke in the COP, and by evening he went to London, and in London he was sitting with oil company executives planning 2-3 oil rigs. So these developed countries, which they keep telling you, okay, this has to happen, they are going to do exactly what they said, against what they said. So recently, 1 week back, EU has now passed a resolution. They said they have criminalized environmental crimes, environmental destruction. I said, fine. I said, that means EU will criminalize itself. Will a criminal say that I am a criminal? So these are only, they are parrying to the, constituencies, and they are only, biding their time, neglecting, confusing, all those things are happening. Yeah, this is about participation. I have 12:15. I'll take my own time, another 5 minutes. In participation, as there are conference of parties. That means each country sends a delegation to COP, and they are called conference of parties. This is Glasgow. They had 11,700 observers. So apart from the parties, civil society organizations like Engineering Staff College of India or Council for Green Revolution or any research institute, they can be sitting in the negotiating rooms as observers. They will not participate in negotiation, but they can observe what is happening. But in Glasgow, even though there were 11,000 observers, only 36 were allowed inside. No space. But some people say it is conspiracy because 11,700 are registered. Why did you plan? It's like, we invite 500 here and we know only 100 seats are here. So that's the kind of planning sometimes happens. So observers, civil society participation is very important, but it is disciplined in Egypt, and it is again disciplined in Dubai. So now they have, I'll come to that. Now this is again the registered participants in COP27 Egypt. So you can see how many are participating from states, only 3,000 to 4,000 conference of parties. But registered participants were 33,000 in Egypt. So even here in Dubai, there are going to be 40,000 participants. And they are expecting 70,000 overall. Now Indian delegation, you should get a natural question. Who is going from India? Did you get that thought? Anyone got the thought? Thank you. This is a list which was given by UN FCCC, not India. Indian government does not have a practice of declaring Indian delegation going to COP. In the last 28 years they have not done, we don't know. But this has come from UN FCCC, and you can see who are there in the delegation. You might expect delegates negotiating on loss and damage, emissions. You will expect scientists, you will expect bureaucrats, you will expect civil society, or you expect consultants, you expect knowledgeable people, or youth, or women. But you can see here, you see photographers, helping staff, 10. And you know who are those helping staff? There are 3 cooks in that. Cooks. Cameramen are 3, Doordarshan, from Doordarshan 7. So that means the media was there. Media as part of delegation. You know, they could go differently, but they were there. So anyway, the only, Environment Ministry, 26 people. So when Professor Purushottam Reddy says, why we don't have an Environment Protection Authority, when you have an authority, people expect you to send a delegation, they'll question you. So there is no authority. So whom will you question now? Bhupender Yadav? He is not available. So this is the kind of delegation which is going from India. So in COP documents there are at least, now you can type and check. There are 58,640 documents which are available for any negotiator to learn and discuss. 58,000. Now imagine when a delegate, you need a continued delegate, not just someone going for COP and going for shopping in the evening. We need a delegate who is continuously a delegate, who can participate, who can protect our interests, who can share, our concerns. But this is the kind of delegation which is going there. So we need to question that delegate, who is part of Indian delegation. Prime Minister will be there on the first, and by afternoon or evening he will be back. But for the 12 days, who is there from India, who is protecting our interests, who is there from India, who is contributing about what we are concerned about. We are concerned about our future. We are concerned about Himachal Pradesh. We are concerned about Uttarakhand. We are concerned about Hyderabad. We are concerned about biodiversity, Eastern Ghats, Western Ghats. Number of issues are there in India which are coming from climate change. But who is there? Who is going there? Who is talking what? This question has to come from all of us. And this is what we expect from you people, because you are the future policy makers. So exclusion, we feel it is an inclusive process. They exclude many people from participating. One is civil society from south, it's very expensive going there. Now Dubai is nearby for Indian civil society, it might be cheaper. Delegate composition, which we discussed. Meeting arrangements, as I mentioned, in Glasgow, there are at least 40,000 people, and they took half a day to enter the venue. There were security concerns, and some people there. Glasgow is a very small town, not bigger than maybe our Banjara Hills and Jubilee Hills. So they have to stay away. So the meeting arrangements are very constricted, and that will eliminate people. So in Egypt, Sharm el-Sheikh is away from Cairo. There is only one road which goes to that Sharm el-Sheikh. So that one road, you have a lot of security forces. So they have a lot of checkpoints. No one can just walk in. And Dubai, it is now Expo City. They are going to control who can be there, how they can come. So all that is planned. Language barrier, it's all English. And the English is again very loaded English, There are a lot of words which, as I mentioned, resilience. What does resilience mean? So how it is being used. So there are, it's not just the language I am saying. It is about the concepts, it is about the way the words are used. So human resources, we need people who are empowered with knowledge, who can be there as delegates. We have not prepared them. We don't have a group of negotiators in India. And India is the third biggest carbon emitting country. We don't have a trained human resource to negotiate on our behalf. Poor countries, they don't even participate. As I said, simultaneously there will be 15 to 20 negotiating rooms. America will send 300 or 500 people. But a poor country like West Indies will send one or two. So they'll be confused in which negotiating room they will be sitting and participating. So even though we think all 197 parties are engaged, but within the negotiation rooms, it is the big, powerful and industrialized nations who dictate what is happening within the rooms. So that is why civil society outside, they contribute to what is happening inside. There are a number of initiatives, they'll keep updating us on what is happening, who is saying what, and there are a number of sources now, and they bring out the evil methods which are being deployed by multinational corporations and industrialist countries. So that is where one of our efforts of everyday analysis is to make you understand what is happening there. So you will feel that even if you are not gone there, you will understand what is happening on a day-to-day basis. So false solutions, now this is the biggest concern. They tell you this is a solution, but that solution is going to continue the emissions, or it will continue their power, or it will continue their profit making stream. So there are a number of false solutions in agriculture, in energy, in various sectors. So again and again they keep talking of technology. But I am saying technology of change is not with industrialized countries. Technology of change is with us. But we keep looking at somewhere else. We have within ourselves to change. The transformation technology is everywhere. But these people keep showing you, वहाँ दिख रहा है वो चांद दिख रहा है वो चांद वहाँ है हम यहाँ हैं, and it continues every night. This is a false solution, Now everything is named green. So they say it will become a solution. So green packaging, green cars. So everything is now labeled as green, and they say it has become green. So like, most of your engineering students here, I'll say green building. Okay, what does green building mean? I questioned, Google is building 5 lakh square feet building in Hyderabad. And government says it's the biggest and that's our achievement. I said Google has come here because building a 5 lakh square feet, environmentally impacting building in US is very expensive. It is cheap in India. No one will question. You go to any building in financial district, ask them, आपका मोरी कहाँ जा रहा है, आपका गंदा पानी कहाँ जा रहा है. It is going into a nearby तालाब. You have swank glass buildings and someone keeps taking photo. Oh, we are in New York, we are in Dublin, we are somewhere. Ganda pani kahan ja raha hai? It's worse than a village. All this area, Kokapet, where we are sitting, they are worse than villages. So false solutions are being pushed. So this is a 2-week agenda. Sorry, I took almost 45 minutes. This is an agenda I think we can share. You can visit our website. We are going to put up everything there. cgrindia.org. We are going to share with you all the details continuously. So this is a layout, in Dubai they have a blue zone and there's a green zone. So in the green zone anyone can go. Even now you can go and participate there. But blue zone is only for the delegates and observers who are going to be part of the negotiating stream. So India has given Panchamrit. Panchamrit is 5 principles, and I'm not going into detail because we don't have time. But Indian program of decreasing emissions is very, very limited. They are talking of renewable energy, but we are very slow in achieving that. I'll show you this. You can see here our dependence on coal is 47%, and our electricity, 73% of our electricity still comes from coal. And now we are importing coal from Australia, Indonesia. This is after 10 years of commitments. And if you look at the future plans, the government is not ready to get down the thermal path for electricity. And now electricity is seen as the most efficient way of energy supply. So you can see in 2022, this is a concern which is raised about employment. So this transformation, how it can happen without displacing, without causing livelihood loss, without our economy becoming weaker. So that's why there are very deep concerns and deep streams of discussion which need to happen. So finally, I feel this is the biggest threat. All others we ignore, and policy makers ignore. Together, this is the biggest threat, because in November we already reached 2 degrees centigrade. The humidity in Hyderabad is unprecedented. The temperature changes is also unprecedented. We can no longer be comfortable. We are sitting in AC hall. We think, okay, गर्मी बढ़ा तो क्या होता, कुछ नहीं होता, एसी में बैठते. गर्मी बढ़ा तो करंट नहीं आता, गर्मी बढ़ा तो खाना नहीं मिलता, because plant does not survive. गर्मी बढ़ा तो पानी भी नहीं मिलता. So people think I can drive in SUV, बाकी के लोग मर गए तो भी मेरा कुछ नहीं होता. I think it does not work. So it affects all of us, everyone, including the baby which is going to be born today. And the threats are already there. If you look at China, yesterday, I don't know if you have seen, children in China are affected by pneumonitis. They don't know why and how it has come. Some children are attending school with saline bottles. So the problem is no longer with elderly people like Professor Purushottam Reddy, who is 83 years. It's not with the people like me. It is not even with people like you. It is for your next generation who is going to be born and who is now coming into this world. They can't live a normal life because The climate change is already set in and we have very serious problems coming up. So all of you wake up, engage with the process, define what kind of life you want, and I think we will be better off. Thank you. I'll stop here.